It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
So my friends, those of you who have cancer or who beat it, there's nutrition involved. And today we're going to talk about nutrition during and after cancer treatment. So I think this is a very important show for those of you who have cancer, and hopefully those who are now going for treatment, you will do very well. My guests today, Molly Sweeney and Pollyanna Fino from the Cancer Center in Hazleton, Lehigh Valley Hazleton Network Cancer Center. And we're going to talk about that. Well, how important is nutrition while and after? So, Polly, nice to see you on the show again. We're going to make you a co-host. And Pollyanna, I told you I love that name, Pollyanna.
Thank you.
So you didn't want to tell me you got the name, but you know, it's a very pretty name, Pollyanna. Okay. So now, for Pollyanna, we know all about her because she's been on the show a zillion times. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I grew up in this area in Whitehaven, went to the University of Scranton for my undergrad, and then went down to Philadelphia for PA school at Philadelphia University. Spent 5 years working in an emergency room down there, and then recently moved back home and started working at the Cancer Center.
What is your title? What do you do?
Physician assistant.
Okay, and what specifically? It seems like you specialize in a specific area.
So we're more generally trained, and that's one of the nice things is that we can change specialties. So while I started out working in the emergency room, I was able to switch and now work in hematology oncology.
Okay, so that's the field that you like a lot. And Molly, your background?
I am a registered dietitian and a certified diabetes educator. I did my undergraduate work at Marywood University, my dietetic internship also at Marywood, and I have my master's degree through the University of Alabama.
Okay, so as I said before, this is March is National Nutrition Month, and I said to you, every month and every day should be National Nutrition Month. We sort of pay more attention to it now, okay? So what specifically are we talking about? Like what services, Pollyanna, do you offer?
So at our clinic, we take care of both hematology and oncology patients. So
What's the difference?
So for the hematology, that's diseases of the blood, even things like anemia. So we can give people IV iron, we can give blood transfusions. And then on the oncology side, it's taking care of all kinds of cancer. So we have both offices and an infusion suite at the Cancer Center. We can give chemotherapy, we can give the new immunotherapies, we can help people with IV hydration and IV medications, anything that they would need during their treatment.
The center is beautiful. I've been up there a number of times, and you got two great doctors. I mean, the entire network has, but up there, Dr. Bevitz and Dr. Hotchner. Two, I mean, really great guys, really, as well as all the team. And specifically, what do you do up there then, Molly?
So I'm screening all cancer patients for nutrition risk, and
How do you do that?
just by monitoring their height and their weights and seeing how their eating habits have been. The staff is great, and they're directing patients and placing them on my schedule should they see the need.
All right, so when you're looking at nutrition, all right, let's assume a person, after cancer treatment, the treatment's done, okay? What are some of the things that they should be doing, okay? I'm sure they have to still go back for checkups, but what is if they're going for checkups, aren't they getting is the doctor telling them, well, are you doing this, are you doing that, or how does that work?
So ideally, after cancer, people should continue to eat adequate amounts of protein. They should get an abundance of fruits and veggies, dairy, whole grains, preferably like wheat bread, potatoes, sweet potatoes. And you want to make sure that they're engaged in some form of physical activity just to keep them moving.
All right, so you do a complete analysis then of the person?
Correct.
Okay. All right, so after, cancer treatment, it's, I should know what my nutritions are, okay? What are the things that are bad for you?
You don't want things that are heavily processed like cookies, candies, cakes. They're allowed, but in smaller quantities. You want to monitor the amount of red meat you're eating. You want more poultry, fish as part of your diet. Beans and lentils are wonderful. Maintaining adequate hydration, pulling back on sugar-sweetened beverages, things like juices and sodas.
And where do you fit in now with the nutrition part, Pollyanna?
So if I see a patient who is losing weight, or if on the blood work it looks like their nutrition status is falling, I would, ask Molly to step in and help give them some pointers to try and get them back to the nutritional status that we want.
I find sometimes from friends that I know, people that are taking chemo, their appetite's not there, all right? And so they would certainly love to eat, but they have no desire to eat, okay? So we have a catch-22 situation here. What do you do in that case, Pollyanna?
So I have a lot of patients that come in and say they either don't feel like eating, or I think it's hard because your tastes just change, either because of the cancer or because of the treatment. And so it's teaching them tricks to maybe direct them to new foods. We also try and give them everything we can if they're feeling nauseous, to give them nausea medicine. If they're dehydrated, to get them the fluids they need, everything we can do to help get them able to eat.
Is there, you always see this, well, of course, if you're not feeling good, mind over matter sometimes could play a role in it, like watch the Food Network or watch, try to get an appetite, okay? Does that work, or is that just a...
I think there is a component of that. Patients come in and say, I wasn't hungry, but I forced myself to eat.
Yeah.
And, because they know that it's important. We also encourage our patients to stay active, because even though they're often tired, even just a little bit of physical activity will help stimulate their appetite.
When you think, Molly, that nutrition, my wife being a registered nurse, okay, I told you I went for a root canal. And so she said, well, you better eat something before you go, okay, with the Novocaine, et cetera. Well, I didn't want to, So there's certain things that you do to build up energy, okay? I didn't have any desire, but she, being a registered nurse and also the president of this company, have to listen to her. She'll fire me. But the point is that, it does give you nutrition. So does that work with cancer patients or people who are done with the treatment?
It does, because research shows that the better somebody's nutrition status is, the better their outcomes are. It improves their quality of life. It can prevent malnutrition. It can keep them from needing IV fluids, whether it's in the office or in the hospital, for dehydration. And they just overall feel a little bit better.
Molly, how about these drinks that they have? I mean, if a person is not eating, okay, and at least they, like you said, you need a nutrition, okay, what do you recommend there?
We actually give a lot of our patients Ensure and Boost.
Is that right? Yeah. Now, is that a supplement for not eating?
Right.
Okay, and you find that's, and then Pollyanna, how do you monitor the person who is, with the nutrition? How do you monitor this?
So partly just talking to them, asking them what they're eating throughout the day. We weigh them every time they come in, so we can follow if they're gaining or losing weight. And then we check labs like their albumin to measure the protein in their body to see if it's falling or holding steady.
Now, each person is regulated, correct? So you know that each person, what they have. Now, are there certain things for different cancers in nutrition-wise, or is it on a blanket umbrella where you should, no matter what cancer it is, you should do this and this and this, Molly?
I think everything is individualized. Everything's tailored for that individual person based on what their needs may be. And not everybody eats the same, so making recommendations can't really be that blanket statement.
Okay, so rule of thumb, all right, if you are, you're done with your treatment, okay, so, and people are now, I guess they are told, well, you could come back and see me every 6 months or whatever the doctor recommends, all right. Rule of thumb, okay, these people that are now done with treatment, okay, what do you suggest they do? Go ahead, Pollyanna.
So we just want them to try and get back onto a healthy lifestyle. Maybe while they were getting treatment, they weren't able to exercise as much or didn't have the appetite. So we encourage them. We'll often send them for physical therapy to help them, safely get back into an exercise routine. And once they're done with the treatments, the hope is that their appetite comes back, their nausea is improved, and so they can start eating a more well-balanced diet again.
So I would think it's rather important for an individual who's had cancer treatment, to make sure they're on the right path with nutrition and exercise. Is that correct?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. So in other words, again, it doesn't make any difference what treatment they had. Okay. So after treatment, you recommend you tailor make them, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever now, do they come in to get evaluation?
They can, yes.
Uh-huh. Do you do follow-ups? So for assuming there's a person who had cancer and they were getting, how do you do that? I mean,
the girls at the front desk will schedule a new appointment. Over the next couple of months, I feel that every patient that is going to be walking into the cancer center will be evaluated by me, just to make sure that they're meeting their nutrition status, to let them know that I am there and available to see them.
Folks, I'm talking to Molly Sweeney and Pollyanna Fino from the Cancer Center in Hazleton. Believe me when I tell you, second to none, really, they're great people. When we come back, what are some case studies? What are the results, okay? Some people say, I don't need this, I'm doing fine, blah, 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 blah. Is that good or is it bad? We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show. Folks, remember 24/7 you can watch all of our shows on ssptv.com and download the app. Just search SSP TV, download the app. For those of you who do not have cable, go to YouTube, download SSP TV, and you can watch all of our shows. But you should have cable. My guests today are Molly Sweeney and Pollyanna Fino from the Cancer Center here at Hazleton, Lehigh Valley Health Network Cancer Center in Hazleton. Their number, folks, let me give you the number. For those of you who are having cancer treatment or done with treatment, I highly suggest you call about the nutrition part, 570-501-1242. Pollyanna, we are talking about, the doctors, etc., and I know Mike very well. Bevins, it's Dr. Bevins, right?
Dr. Evans.
Evans, I'm sorry. So now recently, you have American Society of Clinical Oncology certification. I mean, this is a big thing, okay? Tell me about that.
So we recently received our COPE certification, so it's Quality Oncology Practice Initiatives. And it's basically a way for us to continually do self-examinations. It keeps us to a higher standard, and it allows us to keep looking for ways that we can improve our patient care.
When Dr. Valent was on the show, he explained different, certificates you get, different so-called words, or how you certify. And these are serious things. They're not something that, you just sign a thing and they give it to you, okay? What's the process in developing that so people know when you have this certification that it really, how does that work? Yeah.
So this is something we went out of our way to try and get, and we're given hundreds of measures that we have to make sure that we can monitor, and then they check up that we're doing it properly.
Okay, so and they follow all facets of the oncology?
Yeah, it's the practice, the treatments we're giving, how we're following up with our patients, all aspects of the patient care.
Okay, so we're talking about nutrition, okay? And of course we said March is nutrition month, as we all agree it should be every month, but let's concentrate on focusing on nutrition. What have been some of the case studies that you have found, Molly, for people who, follow up a program of nutrition, okay? Because I would think that's important, all right? What have been some of the case studies?
So specific research has showed that the better somebody's nutrition status is, they're not going to have issues of malnutrition. They're going to have an improved quality of life in the sense that they're able to do more things because they have their strength and their stamina. When their nutrition status is so poor, they're bedridden, they need a lot of more IVs, they need a lot more of hospital follow-up and office follow-up. Where eating, even not necessarily forcing yourself, but encouraging yourself to eat more often during the day is of huge benefit.
Okay, I have a couple questions. Vitamin supplements. Okay, I'm a nut because I take a lot of natural things. Take my omegas every day, the PRN brand. And so how important are vitamin supplements, and should the doctor know what you're taking to supplement whatever is going on in your life? Either.
The doctor should absolutely know everything you're taking, whether it is prescribed or purchased over the counter, because there's a lot of food and drug interactions that could occur. When it comes to vitamins themselves and preventing cancer, there's not enough evidence to support that.
Was that? Say that again.
So when it comes to taking a vitamin to prevent a cancer,
okay. Yeah.
There's not enough
evidence.
evidence.
To prevent, okay. But sometimes people need supplemental. Pollyanna, in the course of when a person's getting cancer treatment, of course there's many things, go through their minds, okay? Will I make it? Will I not make it? It's you're not in the best of mood sometimes. There's a lot of personal things that you have to take into consideration. How do you cope with those things?
Well, we have a great staff and a lot of resources for our patients. We have a financial coordinator on site and a nurse navigator on site who can help our patients, start to make sense of the overwhelming diagnosis that we may have given them.
I think state of mind is important, knowing that, there is, thank God we have the advances. And speaking of advances, okay, Lehigh Valley Cancer Institute is aligned with Sloan Kettering. Now, this is something that I think is really fantastic. I remember when we first talked about this, maybe about a year and a half ago, Tammy, or two, how does this work with Sloan Kettering?
So Lehigh Valley is part of the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Alliance. So it means that our patients have access to the clinical trials and the specialists at Sloan Kettering. So there's a couple ways that we can utilize them. Number one, if we feel like we have questions, we can do tumor boards where we can be in touch with physicians at Memorial Sloan Kettering to get their opinion. We also are able to get our patients in quickly to actually see people there if we feel like that's necessary, and potentially get them into clinical trials so our patients can, really get the cutting edge treatments.
That's fantastic. I mean, really, that is fantastic. So when you're knowing that that really, with the network, Lehigh Valley Network, you have all this access, all right? So a person can feel comfortable, all right? I mean, there's so many traumas, as go through. Staying with nutrition, then, getting them started. How do you get that person? Now, I know there's people here who are watching who probably had cancer treatments or probably getting cancer treatments or done, okay, and they're feeling good, but, there should be something in nutrition that makes them feel better. Is that correct?
In a way, yes, absolutely.
So when you're prescribing to them, okay, once again, a person who's had treatment or is currently getting treatment, they should contact you?
They can, yes.
Okay. Now, folks, the number is 501-1242. Now, I know what you're talking. I know, you feel good, etc. But how important is that?
It's essential.
Yeah.
It really is.
Why do you say that?
We all need to eat in order to live. So making sure that they're eating the right foods that are going to nourish their bodies is very important.
When someone's done with cancer, with treatment, sometimes you'll say, okay, now live your life, okay, as you lived it before. Well, maybe when they lived it before, they smoked, they drank a lot, they did a lot of things that they shouldn't be doing. So I don't think you want to live that life, okay? So the point would be so where does moderation come in here, okay? That's the thing that, wait a minute, I smoked a pack a day. Can I smoke one cigarette or, which is no good, period. But however, I'm just going through their minds as to how they think, do I have to give up everything? You said everything and I go back to my normal life. So how do you react to that?
It's all individually tailored. When it comes to the food stuff, if it's somebody's birthday party, they're not gonna say, no, I can't have a piece of cake. But hopefully 9 out of the 10 times they continue to eat well, where they're getting their fruits and their veggies, all forms of color in the foods. They're getting their poultry, they're getting their seafoods.
So you actually then, you know, when that person comes in and, you know, you really have, you actually then can prescribe to them, you know, a menu, so to speak, as to, you know, well, this, you should look at this. All right, now, I often hear the most important meal of the day is your breakfast, okay? The most important, some people don't have, they have a cup of coffee and a piece of toast and bingo, they're out the door. They enjoy their maybe a good lunch or maybe a good dinner. Okay, so what are your thoughts here? And make sure you're right on this.
I personally love breakfast, but new research is showing that it's not necessarily the most important meal of the day.
Aha! You heard it first on the Sam Lesante Show. So what do you mean? What is that all about? That's interesting.
And the different types of breakfast, research shows that like breakfast cereals, they do contain a lot of sugar, so then we eat more of them in abundance. No one sticks to that 3/4 cup serving.
Nope.
So we eat more than that. We're increasing our caloric intake. We're not having as much protein as we should.
So here again, there's the reason for a menu and a nutritional guideline, because here again, you could, you know, say, oh, I got to have this, but it really isn't, okay? So what, you know, so again, not saying, well, you just have a orange juice or a coffee or whatever, a glass of milk. So the point is, once you know that person's routine, you can say, all right, look, if you're, all right, make sure you have this for lunch. And is that the way it would work?
Yeah. And I mean, ideally eating more often during the day, not having 2 or 3 meals, eating smaller portions more frequently to maintain that level of satisfaction.
So what you're saying to me, Molly Sweeney, is that there's not really one important meal of the day.
No, and the research is constantly changing.
Aha. See, did you know that, Pollyanna?
I did not. Learned something new.
Yeah, see? There goes the eggs and bacon and down the tubes, okay, etc. I got out my, no, forget it. Molly said you don't have to have it.
I still encourage it, but the research
well, you should have
not.
some nutrition. Okay. Folks, I'm talking to Molly Sweeney and Pollyanna Fino from the Cancer Center at Hazleton. This is March's Nutrition Month. This show is playing, of course, after March sometimes, but nutrition is very important. Most importantly, if you are currently getting cancer treatment, I wish you the best. Or if you're done with treatment, I highly recommend just a phone call to them, 501-1242, just to find out where you stand. We'll be back right after this. Thanks for staying with us, folks. I'm Sam Lesante. You're watching the Sam Lesante Show, folks, 24/7, SSP TV. Now, this show we're doing with the Lehigh Valley Health Network is seen in Mountaintop as well on Saturdays and Sunday evenings on Channel 92. We broadcast up there 7 to 11 p.m. On Channel 92. My guest is Molly Sweeney and Pollyanna Fino from the Cancer Center Hazleton. Where is the Hazleton Cancer Center in Hazleton? Where's it located at?
So we're located on the Airport Beltway, really close to the Wellness Center.
Okay. And there you have 2 current doctors, right?
We have Dr. Evans and Dr. Hotchner. We have a financial coordinator on site, a nurse navigator on site, a nutritionist on site, and then lots of other people who really help to get our patients the care they need.
And once again, when you're going there, they have an opportunity of contacting many doctors, okay, and whatever the case may be, including Sloan Kettering, right? Okay. Now, and so your job is what? What do you do?
I'm a physician assistant.
Okay, and you're a nutritionist, right? And you're the person that tells them, this is what I recommend that you eat. Now, how do you know that? How do you know what I should be eating? You just told me breakfast is the most important meal. You're starting to ruin my day, you know that.
I still encourage you to eat breakfast.
Yeah.
I do.
But so in other words, every person has a different, unique thing, okay? Right. So a person may like pasta, like me being Italian, or some people may enjoy a steak once in a while. So again, I guess everything boils down to moderation. Is it, one more time, is it important for the person's health care that they maintain a nutritional diet that's good for them if they have cancer treatment or not. Molly?
It is essential.
It's essential. And case studies show that. Okay. And Molly, you're there to support those people. Okay. The team is very important, particularly when people are going through those hard times, you know. But I think when you look at the light at the end of the tunnel and you see all these advances, thank the good Lord. I know many of my relatives, my wife's relatives, would be alive today because many years ago they didn't have what they have today. So we're very blessed. It's always nice seeing you, Molly.
You too.
Good luck,
Thank you.
and Pollyanna, nice meeting you.
You too.
Folks, remember 24/7. All of our health shows are on our app, or go to the Lehigh Valley Hospital Network web, right, Tammy? And we've saved over the years a lot of lives. Okay, and we're hoping that we can make you healthier, particularly if you have cancer treatment now, or if you're done with cancer treatment. Please give them a call, 570-501-1242, and ask for Molly, and she'll tell you about nutrition, or if you have any questions, Pollyanna is available to you. We'll see you next time.